Good evening, everyone. Tonight we'll be presenting the public facility section of the comp plan. Also with us today is Doug Powell with James City Service Authority in case you have any questions. Next slide. This is our agenda for this evening. Most of today's presentation is based on information that can be found in the technical report. The technical report is the proposed revised chapter text of this section. We will then briefly present information regarding community guidance and goals, strategies, and actions. There are also two additional documents that were included in the packet. One was concerning water supply planning, and the other was information on scenario modeling. Next slide. Public facilities are required to support the services and functions provided by the county and its associated public and private agencies. Public facilities are divided in 5 major categories: public education, public safety, public health, general county government, and public utilities. Next slide. New and renovated facilities should be cost-effective, have functional and operational efficiency, be energy efficient, follow green building design standards, complement existing facilities, and serve the long-term needs of the county. Since the last update of the comp plan, the Board of Supervisors adopted a strategic plan. The strategic plan is the county's guidebook for future investment, provision of public services and facilities, and the county's work plans for the next 20 years. 2 of the priorities of the strategic plan are to modernize infrastructure, facilities, and technology systems and provide exceptional public services. By modernizing infrastructure and facilities, the county improves the quality of life for residents and addresses the changing needs of the population. The county provides exceptional service by improving services to its changing populations. Next slide. Division and departments within the county are continually assessing the facility and service needs of the community based on changing demographics and growth trends. Departments use level of service guidelines to assist in this process. These guidelines help direct development and operation of public facilities. These guidelines provide thresholds for measuring the impacts of growth with respect to creating new facilities, seek to maintain and improve the quality of service delivery to the public, provide a practical way for citizens to balance performance with fiscal limitations, and they are a statement of the expectations that residents have for their government services. Next slide. The facilities and service guidelines that are developed are unique to James City County. Each county department and agency affected was asked for input. These guidelines are developed to achieve the following goals. Quantity and quality of facilities will be maintained in relation to the population demographics, characteristics of the population, as well as size and demand. Public facilities remain an expression of what citizens need, desire, and are willing to support. They should be located in close proximity to the greatest possible number of people and are provided proportionately to the number of people served. New facilities or expansions are located where most needed or required. Local community objectives and activities are supported by encouraging the full utilization of all public facilities, including joint and multi-use facilities for use by different county agencies, the development of shared facilities, and the development of public-private partnerships. Next slide. For all measures of performance, the effective capacity should be used. This is usually less the design capacity, and it is the capacity achievable given the design and available resources. For new school sites, factors such as proximity to neighborhoods located within the PSA, availability of land, ability to minimize transportation costs, and accommodation of multiple users are important. Also, the square foot per student standard for the different levels should be considered to ensure efficient and appropriate use and size of design space. The space guidelines listed on the slide reflect the standards used in constructing the most recent school sites and include space allowances for recreational considerations. The Williamsburg Library consists of the Williamsburg Library, the James City County Library, the Stryker Center, and the mobile library services. The facility and service standards are also listed on the slide. Next slide. Facility and service guidelines are noted on the slide shown. Examples for fire protection are response times of 6 minutes or less, and to provide a fire station in areas where there are 365 or more calls per year. For law enforcement, it is to provide a field office in all future fire stations, maintain an average response time of 7 minutes for high priority calls, and maintain a clearance rate for crimes that exceed the national average for similar localities. The standards for corrections are based on populations and beds and standards from the Board of Corrections. Next slide. For refuge collection and disposal, the county has a transfer station and 3 convenience centers. The county provides residential curbside recycling services. Refuge collection is handled through private companies. Standards include to provide all county facilities with appropriate recycling receptacles and provide residential curbside recycling services at a reasonable cost. Partnerships within this category include Old Town Medical and Dental Center, regional funding for the Peninsula Health District, and Colonial Behavioral Health and the Heritage Humane Society. The general county government category consists of the office and maintenance buildings that house county departments. The county sponsored a space needs analysis to examine facility needs of the county's various administrative functions. This analysis can be used to develop a facility master planning study, as well as assisting in examining alternative concepts of renovation, expansions, and/or new construction to meet the county's needs for space. Next slide.
JCSA, like any other public water supplier, must obtain a permit for the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality to withdraw groundwater. DEQ has concerns about the long-term viability of the aquifers, and it is their intent to reduce the amount of groundwater withdrawn. Because of this concern, JCSA must identify viable long-term water supplies and look for ways to reduce the county's demand for water. This is also a goal in the strategic plan. All water and sewer facilities shall be consistent with the 4 documents listed on the slide: JCSA regulations governing utility service, the design and acceptance criteria for water and sewer systems, standards and specifications for pump stations, and the HRSD regional construction standards. Next, please. The Commonwealth of Virginia encourages localities to consider opportunities to provide broadband access that can meet current and future needs of its citizens and businesses. Children in households with broadband access have more educational opportunities and in obtaining career success. This access is also important to the local economy. It is also important to realize that there are logistic and financial challenges. The Center for Innovative Technology has a toolkit which includes mapping of coverage based on best available data in Virginia localities. The maps from the center appear to show broad coverage, with some gaps, primarily in the rural west and northern portions of the county. Most broadband service is provided by private companies, but local governments can provide support by encouraging private providers to extend or improve service, by pursuing grants, funds to assist in the cost of infrastructure, and by monitoring new technologies and updating regulations pertaining to wireless communication facilities in the zoning ordinance as appropriate. Next slide, please. The Space Needs Study completed in 2020 examined the facility needs for county administration, Williamsburg-James City County School Board and Central Office, and the courthouse functions. The study developed metrics to determine the amount of space needed by job function, evaluate utilization of existing space, identify deficiencies, and apply metrics and investment practices to achieve a baseline assessment of space needs. And as shown on the current slide, the current square footage for each category is listed, along with the square footage that will be needed by 2040. Next slide, please. The next two slides summarizes the public input most directly related to the public facilities chapter that has been received so far. This first slide shows the responses from 2019 citizen survey. Through the survey and the first round of public engagement, one of the themes that most directly relates to this chapter is respondents desire additional quality of life, amenities including parks, public water access, expanded recreational facilities, trails for walking and bicycling, transit connections, and other enhancements to existing public facilities. Next, please. As a follow-up to the survey, the county hosted the Engage 2045 Summit on the Future to engage with citizens to determine their vision for the future of the county. Respondents were asked to indicate their biggest concern for the future, for the county's future, and 11.5% answered that the future water supply of the county was their biggest concern, while managing growth was the most frequent response to a separate question of what is most important to accomplish. Ensuring the county can manage the quality of public services was the second. Three responses included the county should secure its own affordable water sources, libraries should continue to expand with branches where people reside, the county should meet the technology needs for the 21st century, and the county must plan for schools that accommodate a growing population. Next slide, please. For this initial review, the goals, strategies, and actions adopted as part of the Toward 2035 Leading the Way comprehensive plan have not been revised. The staff is exploring potential revisions, and members of the Planning Commission Working Group are welcome to comment on GSA revision and to provide suggestions for questions to include in the next round of public input. Next slide, please. So this concludes our review of the Public Facilities Technical Report, Community Guidance and Goals, Strategies, and Actions.